we've kind of, dabbled in the Olympics a little bit here. For those who don't know, I just hosted a show for 3 weeks basically on Peacock called Gold Zone.
By the way, you crushed it, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Gold Zone was
much
so
appreciated.
fun to watch.
Much appreciated. I loved it. Honestly, I've always been an Olympics fan. I worked Sochi and Rio. We did the same show, Gold Zone, but no one saw it because it was only on NBCOlympics.com. And back in 2014 and 16, to be quite frank, streaming was an annoyance, not a necessity. Oh, what are you doing? You're doing a show for Sochi? Yeah, where can I see it? Wait, I have to use my computer? Yeah. It didn't get a lot of pub. And to be quite frank, we had restrictions. We couldn't show the figure skating or the skiing or the big stuff or the gymnastics because that stuff you had to save for 8 o'clock Eastern time, the prime time. This year when they called up and they said, hey, because we didn't do it for the last couple of games, time zone's not good in Asia, we want you back. We're going to do Gold Zone, and we're going to do it big and right. We're going to do it live. Everything is live. We're going to do Red Zone. We're going to do it as you know it and love it, and this is going to be big. I said, hell yeah, I'm back in. Absolutely. We're doing it. And I cannot say enough about the team that Molly Solomon and Gary Zenkel and Becky Chapman and everybody put together there. Amy and Dusty and Sully and Arch and Josh and Jared and Sebastian. Look, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to thank because Red Zone is easy, to be honest with you. I know that sounds crazy, but I could watch 10 football games at once. I did it for 18 years. It's like riding a bike. It's like, I'm not patting myself on the back, but Scott would tell you the same thing. After a while, it's like A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe. The numbers are just floating off the chalkboard. And like, we got this. It's football. I know the names. I know the numbers. I know the teams. Let's go. Yeah, there are times where you're anxious. You're trying to, we got to get there before they snap the ball. There's that. But it's football. It's riding a bike. This is 39 sports, 10,000 athletes. You think I know the intricacies of fencing? Team saber? Individual épée? You think I know how they're scoring judo? I still don't know.
If you do, please tell me. Somebody tell us.
There's the velodrome. Do you know what the Madison is in the velodrome? Of course you don't, right? Can you describe modern pentathlon? So NBC's research staff, it's not like, hey, the middle of the summer, we should get some notes together. They work on this year round. All year. Like, they didn't take a break after Tokyo. You just keep working on the Olympics because the Olympics are there every 2 years, and this is what they do. So I had a researcher, Dan Meyer. Scott had a researcher, Kirk Meyer. Not related, by the way.
Whoa.
And those guys, Marvin Pittman at the control room, invaluable. They had to tell you about 39 sports and 10,000 athletes. They had to be in the control room saying, no. Don't go to that sailing event because that's a prelim. That doesn't matter, right? But we do have to go over there because there's going to be a repechage for Freddie Crittenden. He's going to get a chance to run to try to quad. Like all these things where you're like, okay, let's spell this out. And we're trying to make sense of it. We're happy that you loved it. We loved bringing it to you. And I learned to love the Olympics again. I've always liked the Olympics. I've always enjoyed working the Olympics. But this year, honestly, I fell in love with the Olympics again. Not only because we were doing a fun show that people like. Yes, that's part of it. But people like the show because the athletes were amazing and the performances were amazing. I always say on Sundays, we do a good show when we have good games. We did a good show for 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks for Gold Zone because the games were amazing. Because Simone Biles is a force of nature. Because Noah Lyles is fantastic. Sha'Carri Richardson, Mono Duplantis, like all of these athletes and all of these stories were great. And you know what? You loved it too. People say the Olympics are back. The Olympics are back because the athletes and Paris were so great. And they're going to keep that momentum going into Milan in 26 and keep that momentum hopefully going into LA in 28. But I wanted to count down 5 moments that maybe you missed. Do we have it open?
High five.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Andrew's
Top 5.
Yes.
That is amazing. You make me look like I should be in the weightlifting competition, which I shouldn't. All right, Andrew's top 5 moments. Did you see Andy McDonald? Do you know Andy McDonald? He's 51 years old. He's not like riding a horse in equestrian. He's riding a skateboard. Andy McDonald back in the 90s was a skateboarding legend. He even had his own video game. Like in the Tony Hawk era, and Tony was there, Andy McDonald was a thing. He is a 6-time X Games gold medalist or champion. He won his first in 1996. He's 51. Team USA didn't want him, but he knew his dad is from outside of London. So he got British citizenship, and he showed up and skated with Tony Hawk in attendance as a 51-year-old. Now, his score was like 77. There's Tony. He didn't make it to the final, but what a fun story, considering he has an 18-year-old son who is older than every single medalist on the women's podium in skateboarding. Their ages were 14, 16, and 16. The British skater won her second Olympic medal at 16. She won her first at 13. And Andy McDonald was out there at 51 years old. Good for him.
Nice.
Do you know the story of Kayla Nemours, the French gymnast who won gold? This one deserves its own movie. So there she is, one of the best gymnasts, if not the best in France. But she ticked off the French gymnastics folks because she didn't want to train at their facility. She wanted to train at home. Her dad helps train her. Well, they didn't like that. You got to come train with us. So there was some animosity. And then she got injured, needed multiple knee surgeries. The French gymnastics people thought, maybe your dad is doing this. They're overtraining you. You need to train with us. She said no. So she comes back from knee surgeries. And again, she's the best that they have. Her doctors cleared her. The French doctors said, no. You're not cleared. We don't think you're ready. You need to come train with us. She said, to heck with you. My dad moved to this country when he was very young. He's from Algeria. I'm going to get an Algerian passport. So she got one. She's going to go to Team Algeria, except this close to the games, the French team has to release her from their Olympic team. And they said, no, you can't go compete for Algeria. Are you kidding me? So her mother started this big campaign. Let's get signatures, social media, put it on TV. And all the French fans said, let this poor girl go. So they let her out last second. She went to compete for Algeria and won the gold.
Unreal.
To stick it to her native country. Or just win the gold for herself. Not trying to say it was mean-spirited. Big headlines all over the world. First ever medal for an African gymnast ever. The entire continent. Except she's from France. And has never really been to Africa. But hey, it's fun. My number 3 under the radar story. Did you see Germany beat France in overtime in handball in the quarterfinals? You probably did not, but it was Miracle at the Meadowlands, Minneapolis Miracle kind of stuff, right? It's over. They're celebrating. The crowd is going nuts. They're singing. They're chanting. France has beaten Germany. 4 seconds left. Just make one pass, inbound the ball. They call a timeout. And then out of the timeout, they got the ball stolen. And Germany scored no time on the clock. The game's over. Then go to overtime, and then Germany scored with 10 seconds left to win in overtime. Again, Herm Edwards, Pisarcik, Miracle at the Meadowlands kind of stuff. That was number 3. Number 2, Kristen Faulkner won the cycling road race, okay? Kristen Faulkner, you may not know her. She's an American. She rode at Harvard, then went to work on Wall Street. No longer an athlete. One day a couple of years ago, working on Wall Street, being an Ivy League kid in New York, went to a cycling clinic in Central Park. Went, I kind of like this. Took up cycling and then won 2 gold medals 5 years later. The most stunning performance in the last 40 years of American cycling came from a former Harvard rower who just happened to show up at a cycling clinic in Central Park a couple of years ago.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. And then finally, Teddy Riner, the French judo legend. You might have seen him in the opening ceremony, one of the last guys to help light the cauldron. Yep. Big dude, in blue. Yep. That's Teddy Riner. legend in France, from Paris, won a gold. He's retiring. Swan song. Then in the final team event, they have something called the Dial of Destiny. They were tied. They needed to go to a fifth match. And to pick the two judoka for the fifth and final match, they spin a wheel right out of The Price is Right. I'm not making this up. And then those two people, pick your fighter, have to come out and fight. And of course, they picked Teddy Riner. There he is. They're chanting, Teddy, Teddy, Teddy. And then he goes out and he won. And it was awesome.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.